If you haven't been living under a rock in the past few years, you've probably come across a special little title named Skyrim. This game, at launch, had already amassed a huge fan base on marketing alone, but even years later, the game is still alive and thriving, but that's mostly thanks to its online community. The magic of being a solo adventurer who's thrust into a land of dragons, swords, magic, and killer-sized crabs give you that giddy feeling that people still love today. But playing the new VR version has given me another feeling: nostalgia. Playing the fourth title of a game series doesn't sound like much of a leap, but considering that Skyrim has been out for about as long as the human race, then it puts it into a little perspective. Oblivion was released in 2006 and was released next to this abomination. Graphics in this game have a great amount of detail to them that you would want from an open world RPG. Fighting animations are clean and obvious. You can clearly tell if someone is right pissed off with you.
Make it quick.
The precision aiming is just garbage on the console. A lot of times I would just slam spells into the wall more often than an enemy. But the other spells offer more battle enhancements that really help cover for its shortcomings. Luckily, there are not any quests to my knowledge that require you to hit a precise target. Visually, Oblivion still looks just about as good as vanilla Skyrim, but we're not talking modded shit, that just don't count. Everything is based off an in-game time that can be passed or skipped at will, and is a well-added addition to complement the slow change of time in-game. Having multiple quest lines not just be a collectathon, but actually fleshed out parts of this huge world was just beautiful. Speaking of world, did you know that there are actual entire dwarf stars that can fit inside of this thing? Nobody fact check me on that, but seriously, this map is huge. When I was just a kid going through this, I had never paid attention to tutorials and missed fast travel one by accident. It took me an embarrassing amount of time for me to realize that I didn't have to walk everywhere all the time. Maps back at the coming of ages used to have an attainable amount of distance. So seeing this for the first time, I went, yeah, okay, should be just right around the corner. Something like, yeah, a couple seconds away. Not a problem. Where the fuck is this guy? The sound and the music in this game, I can't even begin to, you just need to listen. Here, just listen. The music is one of the greatest soundtracks ever placed into this type of medium. Jeremy Soule put his actual name into this soundtrack and captures everyone else's with its melodic and resounding tones. The energy from the soundtrack is enough to make you feel really engaged in the world you are playing in, but that wasn't all they had cooking around that time. Some of you may recall that the big aim for this title was the crazy amounts of dialogue planned out for it.
Stop! You violated the law!
Funny enough, this also made the file size for the game go from 10 gig to about 300 gigs, but the end result was it worth it? Yeah, I'd say this was well executed and did make this game stand apart. The story has many in-depth parts to it, with some quests being affected by some of the other ones that you do. Like the Gladiator one, where you do a special quest for the Grand Champion. It changed everything. I don't want to ruin the surprise if you guys ever go to play it, but this is well worth doing if you haven't got to this part. A lot of care was put into the dialogue and story for this game, so I do give this a big old thumbs up. If you still own a PS3 or an Xbox or just happen to be floating around Steam and you want to go find a good old school RPG that takes some of your time, then I recommend a quality title like Oblivion. It doesn't have fancy two-hand spell casting like Skyrim, but it does still serve as the bigger brother of what true game design should be about.